Welcome to the American Idiot Show on Monday night by the Manic Hispanic and the Pretty Boy. Of course, our other two co-hosts having some scheduling difficulties, but tonight we're going to talk a little bit about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. We're going to talk about COVID-19 getting out of hand and 43 days till election. So let's go ahead and, without further ado, go ahead and bring on the Manic Hispanic. Manic Hispanic, how are you doing this week? I didn't catch you in mid-bite.
No. Have not eaten yet. So, that'll probably come later in the show. But I'm doing good. It's been a good week, man. Wearing my college shirt since we kind of got on a topic the other day.
Okay.
About blue chips and such. Figured I'd represent.
Nice. I totally dig it. Well, starting this Saturday, the Hogs are back, so woo pig.
Yep.
Pretty excited about that. But without further ado, we'll bring in the third member of our panel. California.
Everybody to the Wild Wild West, a state that's untouchable like Elliot.
Okay, that's enough of that. What's up, Sean?
Hey, how's it going, man?
How's it going?
Live from Missouri, it's Sean.
Yeah, Sean here for live from Missouri this week. Ooh, very good point. Very good point.
I said Missouri or misery?
Yeah, you could take it both ways, yeah. I would agree with that.
Well, definitely looking forward to talking about this tonight as we have a video to accompany Miss RBG passing away.
Despite her enormous ability and academic achievements, she could not get a job with a law firm in the early 1960s because she was a woman and the mother of a small child. Having experienced discrimination, she devoted the next 20 years of her career to fighting it and making this country a better place for our wives, our mothers, our sisters, and our daughters.
Oh, of course I'm on mute. And we got a comment here from Rich Rockwell, says he hopes Trump fills the spot quick. Hashtag MAGA.
Wow.
But
we should invite Mr. Rich to come on the show.
Absolutely. Hit us up on Messenger and I'll give you the link. But Ruth Bader Ginsburg passing away. You know, I was talking to Antonio before you came on, Sean. They had to know something. And I realized this as soon as I, started putting stuff together today because I was looking at our headlines from last week and we talked about how Senator Cruz and Senator Cotton were mentioned on the short list. They had to know something. This didn't come as a complete shock, I don't believe, to the governing parties of of Washington, but they had to. I have a feeling they knew something. That's why Trump's able to try to act so quickly as he is and things like that. Do I respect the way he acted so quickly within hours of her passing? No, not at all. But that's what I was talking to Antonio about. I feel like they had some sort of knowledge that she probably wasn't going to make it, very much longer.
Well, I mean, the sharks smell blood in the water, so they wanted to act as quickly as possible, which not even 3 hours after her death, they start saying, well, we're going to go ahead and put in a new nomination. I mean, at least give the nation, the parts of this nation that loved her immensely, the time enough to grieve this before you make it all political. That's what I would have asked. Put the flags at half-mast, give us a few days, and let us respect, and that's another thing, too. As far as the people acting so swiftly to try to replace her, if this was your enemy, why don't you show some respect to an enemy? Show some honor and let people grieve. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree, and part of me can understand the rush, but I absolutely can't understand. Within hours of somebody passing, you already saying, well, we're going to go ahead and I've already got some ideas in mind to replace her and things like that. So we'll start there. Manic Hispanic, how do you feel about the reaction for President Trump?
The way I look at it is there are certain aspects of the government that have to keep going regardless of what happened. As soon as JFK was assassinated, they had to get things going to get the vice president sworn in.
That's what a vice president's for.
Exactly. But
we don't have people that just stand by for.
Whenever you have these kind of positions, you need to have people in positions. So I understand one way of looking at it. However, when it's something that can wait this is less than 60 days?
45 days to the election, something like that.
Less than 50 days. Something that could have waited a couple of months. I don't understand why the real quick push on it. I really think, if it would have been 4 months, 5 months, I can understand going ahead and trying to get somebody nominated in there. But you're talking
Even
about
I would agree with that.
Just a little over a month. I think that was in poor taste.
Well, I will say this. I believe that part of it is because, of the way that the election is looking. Like I was telling you guys before we went on the air, there's supposedly already over 200 pending lawsuits on the processes for the election. And we're 6 weeks away, 43 days away from election night 2020, and there's already 200 lawsuits pending. Now, I would have to look and do some research and see. I'm sure lawsuits are a normal part of this process, honestly, especially since 2000. But it's certainly something interesting to keep an eye on. And that's why I think part of this push is to get something done so quickly is because of the fact that I have a feeling that this is going to end up in the Supreme Court. Rich again.
The issues, they are looking for a tiebreaker. Period. They don't want it to go 4-4 because then what happens?
Well, I don't think, and technically, Chief Justice is. Go ahead.
I'm reading this comment. If Dems would have done it quickly, everyone would be celebrating and touting how great the President Obama is and brave for acting so quickly in a tough situation. But again, that was 9
4
months
years
before
ago,
the election. Now
4 years ago we had more than
But there
what
were a
we do
lot of
now.
things said back and forth between both parties at that time, and one of the things that was said is that there's never been a Supreme Court nomination during an election year. So, okay, so we're going to establish that rule, and we're not going to do it till after the election. Fair is fair. Okay, we'll play by the rules. Well, here we are again in an election year, and Supreme Court justice has died. Now we need to wait till the end of the election. Just like what was asked of the American people. You know, I mean, Mitch McConnell, Ted Cruz both said it's the American people's choice. We need to wait till after the election. So that should be the standard. That should be the absolute standard. Wait until after the election. Let the American people decide. Uh-oh, we lost Money Mike.
Apparently.
I
Well, there it
apologize.
is.
But, you know, you look at these things, and Rich, I don't even think this applies, because like you said, you know, that was 8 months before the 2016 election. Plenty of time that they could have done something about it. Not saying, but like we were talking a second ago, Manic Hispanic, it comes down to what I have a feeling is going to happen come November 3rd. We won't know who the president is the night of November 3rd, already knowing that there's 200 of these lawsuits outstanding.
What kind of lawsuits are these, though? I mean, is this about election fraud? Is this about voter suppression? Is this about who's on the ballot? I mean, what are these actual 200 lawsuits that have already been filed? Why?
Yeah, I mean that's what there was no details. All I know is that there was 200 lawsuits challenging the processes in these individual states. And they brought up the point that Bush versus Gore was one state. And, you know, we saw how long that took to get through the process. So, I mean,
when are we going to just go ahead and revamp the system, get rid of the Electoral College, and let the people actually decide with a popular vote? Why can't we just do that?
That's not going to get rid of the lawsuits, though, Sean. That's not going to address this situation.
I don't want California dictating what we do here in Arkansas.
That's also true. I still agree with that. I don't want California, New York City,
you don't want
any
California
of that
to dictate what Arkansas does, but South Dakota gets to dictate what California does because California only gets 2 senators, and they have such a huge population. In fact, the Senate should be held by population so that the people are actually represented, not just 2 people for an entire state. That doesn't make sense. None of these processes that we have now, they're outdated and they don't make sense anymore. It's like I've brought up before. Thomas Jefferson even said we needed to rewrite the Constitution every 17 years, for generational changes, for societal changes. And the thing is, our political system has just grown stagnant, and it doesn't work anymore. And we need to fix that process.
I don't necessarily agree that the Electoral College is broken. Once again, I've noticed we're going to talk
for slavery's sake.
But Sean, we
don't have slavery anymore. So
Sean, we're going
to back then.
We're going to talk about hypocrisy later on in the show in the nomination of in the confirmation process of a nominee. But I mean, I can talk about hypocrisy right here. I don't hear too many liberals complaining about the Electoral College process when they win. Same with Republicans. Republicans, when they lose, tend to complain about the Electoral College.
But I've always been against the Electoral College. I don't like the system. I think it's stupid. The rules where delegates can actually vote for whoever they want instead of who the people have voted for. I mean, that's a rule that needs to change. They are talking about revising that. So hopefully that will actually happen. But right now, you can just vote for whoever you want to if you're one of these, super delegates. And that's BS. That shouldn't happen.
I mean, I agree that the whole situation of the delegate being able to vote for whoever they wanted, I mean, technically there is a punishment. You're kind of blackballed. from the political process. But at the same time, I do think that I agree. You should be forced to
what's it
vote
matter if
under
you
like
get blackballed
penalty
if
of
your party
law.
wins?
Well, that's what I'm saying. There should be some sort of backbone to this punishment. You should, whether it be a prison sentence or what have you, not even a prison sentence, a jail sentence,
Yeah, I
or
wouldn't
even a
go that
fine.
far.
A fine.
would-
I
Well,
feel
a
like
fine.
there should be something
When
that
you
should
look at it, what is supposed to
change
happen?
this.
If one of them don't vote the way that the people of that state are wanting, you would think they would get voted out the next cycle.
You would
Well,
think
I don't
so.
think we technically elect. Do we elect? Do we elect these people that are speaking for us in the Supreme Court, or are these people chosen by the parties?
These people.
Well, the delegates or what have you that go in there and speak for Arkansas. The
I was
six
just
delegates that are
supposed to
going to go. I know, but the six delegates that are going to speak for the state of Arkansas, I believe those are chosen by the parties. Correct?
I don't know the process actually of how super delegates are picked. I mean, they might just go to the yellow pages and pull a name out of a hat for all I know.
Right. I mean, I definitely don't think I've never seen it on a ballot. Hey, who do you want your delegate to be?
Right.
I've never seen that, but no. With
sure
that being
money's
said,
involved.
I do legitimately believe that there should be some sort of fine or something to, and of course, you should never be able to serve in the political process at any level again. But I think there should be a fine of some sort to stop these faithless electors from being able to cast their vote the way they do.
Right.
Or against the will of the people. I believe it was in Kansas. And the only faithless electors I remember from 16 actually went against Trump. I believe there was one in Kansas, and I want to say one in Wisconsin that were faithless, and they cast their vote for Hillary Clinton instead of Donald Trump. But, obviously didn't have an impact on the election by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, I think these faithless electors, few and far between, like you talk about with your voter fraud, Sean, few and far between, obviously a minority. These faithless electors, though, should be punished for what they do. Anyway, this part about old Ruth Ginsburg here, we're supposed to talk about her legacy, for crying out loud. Y'all done got me into the Electoral College. Sean, what are you gonna remember about Justice Ginsburg?
She was a tough old lady. I respected her. She fought till her last breath. Not many people do that. Not many people do that at all. She had integrity. And she did her job with honor. She had a core set of values, and she stood by those values. And women's rights were extremely important to her. And, I hope that I am able to raise my daughter to be such a woman.
And I heard you go live, or I seen you go live on the American Idiots page when the news broke, and I guess I was the one that broke the news to you, which kind of surprised me. I'm surprised you hadn't seen that before, but yeah, I mean, when I saw it, I even had to do a double take just because Ruth Bader Ginsburg was kind of one of our Betty Whites. Protect her at all costs. It's 2020. Fucking wrap her in plastic. But I mean, legitimately. It was getting close, and I believe we all knew it was getting close for RBG. She's been in and out of the hospital the past, 4 years at least?
6 years.
Yeah. In and out with issues dealing with, I believe it was cancer, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, cancer, and multiple different types of cancer, wasn't it? Didn't she beat one of them, and then this one finally took her?
I believe you are correct.
I mean, tough fucking woman. And, she did so much for women's rights and did so much for the country. I mean, the fact that I have heard more political talk about her replacement than I have about how amazing she was. I don't even think Trump's put out a statement yet, unless, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe Trump put out a statement talking about what an amazing woman she was and a trailblazer, et cetera, like you'd expect a president to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think he put out a really short statement. It wasn't bad. It wasn't like full of all the praise and honor that you're talking about, but he
Right.
basically, I guess the gist of it is she was a tough old bird, you know, and I mean, if that's the best he can do, cool, I'll take it, because she was.
Well, and I
She was a
follow.
grand old lady, and my favorite quote. Someone asked her once, how many women should be on the Supreme Court, and she said all of them. They should all be women, because nobody questions that it's been all men.
Very true.
And if we do get a Supreme Court with all women, how would that affect America? I think it would be very good for America. I think it would be great for America.
Well, it actually surprised me what Trump said earlier today, and I actually have the audio from what he said earlier today about who he's thinking about nominating. He's down to 5 people. He met with one in the White House today. So he's definitely pushing forward with this. But, I compare when I look at Trump, I don't think we can compare him to Obama. I think the next closest comparison is the previous Republican administration, George W. Bush. I look at what I would have expected George W. Bush to have said, and I follow him on Instagram. I haven't seen a statement from him either. But, what I would have expected George W. Bush to say, and even though George may have disagreed with her ideologically, he would have heaped praise upon her. Manic Hispanic, what?
That's usually common during these kind of situations. Regardless of how much you agreed or disagreed with somebody's personal views, typically when somebody that served the country with you, you roll out the red carpet for them.
Right.
You sing their praises and stuff like that.
Well, and obviously, I'm sure he had to pencil whip it to get it done, but I was surprised to see that her body will lie in repose. It will only be private, though. The general public will not be allowed due to COVID concerns, obviously. But people obviously have been going up to the steps of the Supreme Court and laying flowers down, et cetera, paying their final respects. But Trump says between Friday and Saturday is when he's looking to make his choice of who it'll be. And technically, CNN had it narrowed down to 2 women. A Latina
Ted
lady
Cruz and
from
Tom
Florida.
Cotton, right?
You just love that joke, don't you? But no, there was a... Go ahead.
Well, don't you know, Mike? 12th time's a charm.
Right.
Yep. One trick
Dad
pony.
joke. Dad jokes. But we'll go ahead and talk about this. The congressional Republicans and Democrats, and I did include Democrats on this, saying that they have made an abrupt about-face since their 2016 16 cycle, and here we go.
If an opening comes in the last year of President Trump's term and the primary process is started, we'll wait to the next election. And I've got a pretty good chance of being the judiciary.
You're on the record.
Yeah.
All right.
Hold the tape.
Now, I will tell you that I'm also a member of the Judiciary Committee. Y'all may have heard that we have a Supreme Court nomination opening. I happen to be one of the senators who signed on to the letter to tell this president that we're not going to nominate a Supreme Court justice until the people have spoken. Now, just today, I was on the Senate floor, and I had Senator Schumer and Senator Leahy talking about how we're not doing our job. We're absolutely doing our job. They were talking about how we have a constitutional obligation to advise and consent. I said, we've done that. They said, what do you mean? I said, we've advised the president that we're not going to consent to one of his nominees. We're going to let the American people speak.
This will stand the test of the time. This is the last year of a lame duck president. And if Ted Cruz or Donald Trump get to be president, they've all asked us not to confirm or take up a selection by President Obama. So if a vacancy occurs in their last year of their first term, guess what? You will use their words against them. I want you to use my words against me. If there's a Republican president in 2016 and a vacancy occurs in the last year of the first term, you can say, Lindsey Graham said, let's let the next president, whoever it might be, make that nomination, and you could use my words against me, and you'd be absolutely right. We're setting a precedent here today, Republicans are, that in the last year, at least of a lame duck 8-year term, I would say it's going to be a 4-year term, that you're not going to fill a vacancy of the Supreme Court based on what we're doing here today. That's going to be the new rule. When y'all change the rules about appellate judges and district court judges to get your way, I thought it was a really abuse of power. And what you have done here is you've made the caucuses, the Republican and Democratic caucuses, are now not going to have to reach across the aisle when it comes to appellate judges and district court judges to get input from us, or we get input from you. So what does that mean? That we're going to pick the most hard-ass people we can find and dare somebody in the conference to vote against that person. You're going to have the most liberal members of your caucus pushing you to pick the most liberal judges because you don't need to have to reach across the aisle to get any of our input. And we'll do the same. So over time, the judiciary is going to be more ideologically driven because the process in the Senate now does not require you to get outside your own party. So I'll be fighting talk radio when somebody on my side puts up a nut job, and they will. And I'll fight if I think they're truly a nut job. And it's going to happen on your side, too.
Senator Bozeman, for over the Supreme Court issue, particularly the groups that have directed a primary challenge against Senator Moran.
Well, the situation when we broke for the recess 2 weeks ago was that there were 52 Republican senators who didn't think we needed either hearings or a vote in committee. And today, 2 weeks later, we have 52 Republicans who think we don't need either a hearing or a vote in committee. I think it's safe to say there will not be hearings or votes. I think it is also safe to say the next president, whoever that may be, is going to be the person who chooses the next Supreme Court justice.
But are you concerned about the level?
Is there still too much bad blood between you and Senator Cruz right now?
So, that was obviously just the Republican side, and it's been a complete flop since, those comments were made. The first one I want to say is, it's interesting to me, is how Lindsey Graham's going to address this situation. Lindsey's been very quiet about this, but you heard him right there. If there is a Supreme Court vacancy, he said 2016, I'm assuming he means 2020, and there's an election coming up, you can write it down and hold me accountable. I do not want the current administration until after the election to choose the Supreme Court nominee. Once again, though, it's been a flip on both sides. All of a sudden, the party that isn't handling the White House is, hey, we gotta wait. It's politics, in my opinion, and it's hypocrisy on both sides. But, and of course, the Republicans gave them plenty of meat to yell hypocrisy about, just like the Democrats gave the Republicans plenty of red meat to yell hypocrisy about. But at the end of the day, it's hypocrisy on both sides, in my opinion. We'll start with you, Manic Hispanic.
At the end of the day, it's people doing their jobs. Bottom line, it is the president's job to nominate somebody. So even if he nominated somebody, that doesn't mean they have to vote on him immediately. They could wait the 45 days until the election is over and we know who the president is and vote that pick down.
To be fair,
and allow the next president, whether it be Trump or somebody else, to nominate somebody else.
To be fair, President Obama did appoint a nominee. They just refused to vote on it. Whereas now, Senator McConnell is saying that he will bring it to a vote. I want to bring this to your attention, gentlemen. 58 minutes ago, our own Senator Bozeman says that Trump has the constitutional authority to choose the next Supreme Court justice. So that right here is our own state senator, and I'm assuming he's throwing out support for President Trump appointing the next Supreme Court justice, and he wants to see a vote move forward.
Yeah, but nobody's arguing the constitutionality of the president being able to nominate a new Supreme Court justice. What people are in an uproar about is the swiftness that they're trying to move forward with this, playing politics. That's the whole thing. Again, you called it earlier. You said it's hypocrisy on both sides, and you're absolutely right. People need to
And
stop.
I'm going to say
drawing that.
something here,
Mhm.
and you are going to be like, oh my God, because I'm very much pro-Trump, but the manner in which he's doing this kind of shows that he may not be as confident that he's going to be reelected.
I agree with that. I think that, once again, I think we all agreed on this. We may have done it on air already, but I think we've all said that it's looking like it's coming down to the Supreme Court. And I feel like, that's part of the reason why this is so important right now. Is if it does come down to the Supreme Court, right now we have there's 6 justices, so right now we have 5 justices, correct?
No,
Sean?
there's 9, and right now we have.
There's 9?
Yeah, there's 8 right now that are alive.
There's
We've
8.
had 9.
Okay. So we could potentially have a
4-4.
4-4.
We want, and that there's nothing stopping the next president to appoint, 10 more justices if that's what they want to do, because there's no limit on how many that you can have. And eventually someone is going to be that stupid and do that. Well, okay, you did your last pick. Now I'm going to throw 5, liberals on there just to see what happens. Yay. Well, then
and that's interesting.
We could come along and be like, well, then I'm going to put 20 conservatives on the court because there's no limit. And we can keep playing stupid games like that. Or we could keep the 9 and we could compromise and work together in our political system to try to make
Which
everything
kind of
work.
comes back to what Sean was saying earlier about rewriting some of our documents.
Well, and that's interesting, though, that you bring that up, Manic Hispanic, though, because even though Chief Justice is kind of, sometimes he goes against the Republicans, there's a conservative majority on the Supreme Court right now. So it doesn't necessarily behoove Trump that he has to make this decision now. Even if it does go to the Supreme Court, I believe the odds would be in his favor as far as a potential for, whatever going in his favor. He doesn't have to make this choice now, which makes it even more mind-boggling to me as to why he is forcing the issue. This is a situation where, I looked at it today and I was like, man, this could swing something. This could literally swing the election, and I don't mean because the average Joe cares about the Supreme Court, but because of his handling of this issue, it could swing the election one way or the other. And right now he's failing.
Get a lot of people that normally don't vote out to vote. Both sides.
Absolutely. And CNN actually made a good point earlier. They said it seems that conservatives care about the Supreme Court and, these matters when it comes to voting. It said that CNN said that it seems like the conservative majority tends to show out more in numbers and care more about the Supreme Court and these issues, voting on these issues, than the left side of things as far as actually showing up at the polls. So it'll be interesting. Once again, that just speaks to why the hell is Trump making this such a big fucking issue to me. It literally... I don't know why he is making this a big issue other than he's just trying to, for lack of a better term, have a dick measuring contest and say, hey, I'm the biggest swinging dick in D.C.
Yeah, I got to put 3 of them up.
Stormy disagrees.
Oh, God. Dang. You're bad, Sean. Shame on you. But next up we have Trump's comments today, and they surprised me a little bit. And we'll talk about them as soon as we get back.
I would say on Friday or Saturday I'll be announcing the pick. It's 5 women are being looked at and vetted very carefully. 5. And we'll make a decision probably Saturday, but Friday or Saturday.
Do you plan to meet with any of them in person? Do you plan to meet with any of them in person before you make your decision?
Yeah, I will.
When do you plan to do that?
During this period of time.
Do you think all 5?
I don't know. I doubt it.
But in person?
I doubt it. But we'll meet with a few, probably.
So that, of course, from Bloomberg's Quick Take YouTube channel. But 5 women.
You said it surprised you. What part surprised you?
The women part, honestly. because number one, I hadn't heard any female names bandied about, but number two, I mean, this administration gets a pretty bad reputation on women, and
Not
he's
really.
the first one to jump
he's
out.
Very good about appointing women to positions.
I'm saying he's got the reputation
Of
of
a rapist?
Sean. No, shame. We're not talking about that right now. We're talking about his reputation of misogyny, I guess would be the correct word I'm looking for
rape.
here. Anyway, with that being said, Sean had to, get that crack on his teeth. No, that's why it surprised me. His reputation precedes him, and 5 women as his finalists.
We're losing a woman, so the fact that he's nominating a woman isn't that surprising. Plus, as I said, he's had people in his administration that are female that he has pushed to their prominence.
Is he going to pick Omarosa?
I don't know. That remains to be seen. I don't know that
What
she
about
has any law degree.
What about Caitlyn Jenner?
Good Lord.
Again, I don't know if there's any law degree there.
Though, they've only named 2 names on CNN, at least. They've only thrown out 2 names, both appointees by Trump. But one that I honestly expected to hear that I didn't, just because she is so conservative and she was such a staunch Republican, that really, as far as prestige and the position she's held, may actually speak to her being qualified as Condoleezza. I'm surprised Condoleezza. I'm surprised her name hasn't been bandied about. Sean, would you feel about that pick? First of all, I've got to ask the leftist.
No, I'm against it. I wouldn't want anybody from the Bush administration in there. Sorry.
My man hates the Bush administration. I don't know what's wrong with him. Would you?
When it comes to
he hates anything Republican.
Abstinence is best.
He hates that sign behind you, Antonio, because it's red. I mean, yes, I'm joking,
Oh,
Sean.
come on.
I love the red color, comrade.
And I said that specifically because I knew it was Star Wars, and I was like, Sean would love that, but I've got to make a comment about it being red. But no, for real, I have no problem. I wouldn't have any problem with her. I feel like she's had the positions to qualify her. I feel like she's a well-spoken individual. She gives thought to what happens.
And well-spoken. Ooh.
What's being black got to do with anything? I didn't even bring that up, Sean. Hold up now, Sean. Shame on you for bringing that up. Let's start there.
Would you say
I'm
a
saying
white woman
she's
was
well-spoken. What?
Would you say a white woman was well-spoken?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I've told you before, we've had this talk about Bush. I've said Bush isn't well-spoken. That's the first thing I look for in these types of situations is, how well can you get your point across? Bush was never good at that. Obama was great at it. Clinton was great at it. Reagan was great at it. What?
His old Saturday Night Live sketch where Bill Clinton would be like, "You gonna eat that?"
I must be too young for that one. I don't look it though.
You millennials don't know shit about Saturday Night Live. It's sad.
But with that being
crap
said,
they put out now is not Saturday.
Yeah, the crap. I haven't watched Saturday Night Live. I'll be honest, since 2005.
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live's garbage now. But no, I feel like she would be a good. I feel like she checks all the boxes for me. I feel like she would be, and she, I don't know what's happened to her. Maybe she's gotten out of politics, but there for a while she was the star, one of the bright stars of the Republican Party was Condoleezza Rice.
She's really in the background now.
Yeah, she's kind of, and I think she may be pursuing other interests. Like she was on the board for the Masters, I believe, at Augusta. Wasn't she, Sean? Do you remember that? You're more the golf person here.
Me? I don't
You've
watch
talked
golf.
about golf before. You've
No,
talked about golf, motherfucker.
No, I don't.
But no.
do golf. Tennis. I'm into tennis, not golf.
I believe.
Yeah, but I mean, he looks at your pale skin and your hat, and me,
Yeah,
you know, with
yeah.
the shaven
Right.
head and the dark skin, tattoos. He's like, yeah, there's.
Yeah,
That
is
yeah, not playing any golf tournaments.
It may have something to do with. It may have something to do with the polo too. You know, he looks like he could go out there and hit a few. But you are wearing an elitist school's jersey, so maybe you play golf, Antonio.
Duke basketball.
Bro, are you kidding me? Duke is like the elite of the elite schools.
Duke
Come
is
on
a
now.
big basketball school, man.
Yeah, it is. But, you know, come
I
on
don't care
now.
what else they do. They are a big basketball school.
Duke is not the elite of the elite
Well,
schools.
it's not Harvard, but come on now. It's about as close as you can get in a public school atmosphere.
I mean, is it a nice school? Is it a big school? I mean, if you go to Duke, do you have a little prestige? Yeah, absolutely. But it's not Ivy League.
Well, like I said, it's not fucking Harvard, but it's about as close as it gets when you're talking about a public school.
Rich people don't send their kids to Duke.
I was actually surprised finding out that Miami was a private school, because I was like, fucking the same Miami that Michael Irvin was acting a fool in the 80s is a private fucking snooty university. Surprised me. But anyway, with that being said, Mitch McConnell has also vowed that there will be a vote by the end of the year, which is very vague, by the end of the year on a nominee. Here he is right here.
The Senate has more than sufficient time to process a nomination. History and precedent make that perfectly clear. Others want to claim this situation is exactly analogous to Justice Scalia's passing in 2016, and so we should not proceed until January. This is also completely false. President Obama was asking Senate Republicans for an unusual favor that had last been granted nearly 130 years before then. But voters had explicitly elected our majority to check and balance the end of his presidency. So we stuck with the basic norm. When voters have not chosen divided government, when the American people have elected a Senate majority to work closely with the sitting president, the historical record is even more overwhelmingly in favor of confirmation. There was clear precedent behind the predictable outcome that came out of 2016. And there's even more overwhelming precedent behind the fact that this Senate will vote on this nomination this year.
The Senate has never confirmed a nominee to the Supreme Court this close to a presidential election. If that was how Leader McConnell and Senate Republicans justified their mindless obstruction of President Obama's nominee, surely they must abide by their own standard. What's fair is fair. What's fair is fair. A senator's word must count for something. This election and this vacancy mean everything. And by all rights, by every modicum of decency and honor, Leader McConnell and the Republican Senate majority have no right to fill it. No right. In the final few weeks, sensing her failing health, Justice Ginsburg told her family that it was her, quote, most fervent wish that she not be replaced until a new president is installed. The kind words and lamentations we just heard from the majority leader about Justice Ginsburg are totally empty, totally meaningless if he moves to appoint someone who will tear down everything Justice Ginsburg built.
By the way, I would just like to point out my first thought when watching both of these gentlemen speak on the Senate floor is these two motherfuckers are sitting there sharing a scotch at some back room fucking thing, just laughing at all us non-rich people and counting their money. They just look like the evil guys in fucking James Bond films. Anyway, with that being said, number one, I completely think that Schumer can go suck a fucking big, large penis. About the fact that he just said that the Republican majority has no right to this. He didn't say that this Congress has no right. He specifically said the Republican majority has no right. So you're telling me in what 3-4 months when the new Senate is sworn in, and possibly, I think more likely than not, a Republican majority Senate will not have a fucking right because you just said that shit, you jackass. With that being said, both of them are just completely fucking dumb as fuck, and they've completely changed their positions since 2016. And I'm done with, honestly, congressional Republicans and Democrats both.
also almost like they're just looking to fight over anything. Mitch McConnell says we will vote by the end of the year, not necessarily by the end of this term. And then Schumer wants to come on and say that he's wrong in what he's saying.
Right. I mean, at this point, can we just get two fucking new party leaders from these two parties that can actually work with each other?
Here's a point I want to make really, really quick. Mitch McConnell said that the sitting House majority is supposed to work hand in hand with the president. And we know for a fact that Mitch McConnell stated very plainly to the American people that they weren't going to do anything to help the president. In fact, they would turn down anything that they brought to him.
True.
So, I mean, he is just blatantly lying when he says that. And it's like people don't think that we...
Well, he's saying the truth. It's just going back to that hypocrisy word we talked about earlier. He's telling the truth. It is their job to fucking work with the president, but he's a hypocrite.
Right.
Well, unless he happens to sport a D on his chest. But I don't necessarily agree with the fact that it was just because he was a black man, Sean. You're being very controversial, sir. But no, once again, both sides. I mean, can we just... I think that may solve the issue. Is we've just gotten to the point where we've elected two senators to lead the party in Congress and same with Nancy. I think Nancy is unwilling to work with people. All three of them need to be replaced.
Antonio,
with people that are willing to work with each other.
Need to be replaced.
Well, true.
Antonio and I were just talking about that as far as Nancy Pelosi saying that she has weapons in the quiver, arrows in the quiver, if you will, that they could move to impeach the president or the attorney general, which would stop the proceedings. And no, that just shouldn't. They got to stop doing this stupid shit. I mean, why can't we have term limits on senators and representatives like we do the damn president? Why can't we?
I'll be honest.
They won't do it.
Exactly. They don't vote in the best interest of the American people, let's be honest.
And why can't we have laws against them being paid by big companies to get them to vote specific ways?
I agree with that.
Bull crap.
I agree with that. And that's the thing with me. Like, you're looking at these three individuals, and I mean, I've never really noticed it as bad until this administration, because I've been looking a little bit harder at this administration.
You look
but
back at some of the movies that they have made, The Distinguished Gentleman. That movie opened my eyes big time. Of course, it took a couple of years after it came out. The Distinguished Gentleman.
What is
with
that
Eddie
movie?
Murphy. Eddie Murphy gets elected into, I believe it's the Senate, maybe the House, but I believe it's the Senate. And he is elected off of name recognition. He happened to have the same name as another person who had that position but had died. So he bought all of their old billboards and all that kind of stuff and cut the pictures out and just won off of name recognition.
Okay.
And then once he got there, everybody is telling him, well, we need to know how you want to go on this specific subject, because if you want to be for it, I can get you money from this company and this company and this company. But if you want to be against it, then we can get money from this company and this company and this company. And it was just, it doesn't matter which way you go, they're throwing money at you.
Yeah, I mean, Mitch McConnell has a salary of what, $160,000 a year, $170,000 a year, and he's been in office for more than 25 years, and he is a multi-millionaire.
Yeah.
Now, he didn't save all that money.
Right.
He's been spending almost everything he earns. Where did the millions of dollars come from?
Let's be honest, though. You say Mitch specifically, but
it's all
it's senators,
and
Congress people. But yeah,
it is. I would say most of them. I don't think AOC is going to sell.
I was about to say, to be fair, as much as I disagree with her, I don't think AOC. I think AOC would tell them where to shove their money, but
right,
shove
it right up in your butthole.
But my thing is this here with these guys, like, legitimately, this is the first administration, and it may have happened in the Obama administration, but I know for sure in the Bush administration, in the Clinton administration, in the previous Bush administration, where people are literally digging in their motherfucking heels, and they're saying, no, I'm not, I'm mad, I'm not gonna do that. Like, why are we electing these children? And that's what they are. Literally, they're throwing temper tantrums and they're refusing to work together. I'm so over Congress. Not Republicans, not Democrats, but Congress in general.
Right.
Because nobody can fucking sit there and agree on a damn thing.
How many bills has Mitch McConnell have sitting that he won't put a vote on? It's over 200, right?
Yeah.
Just because he doesn't believe in them ideologically. And that's not politics.
That's unacceptable.
Politics is, hey, look, this isn't going to work. Let's sit down at the table. Let's work something out so that both sides can win. That's how politics work.
I'll take a dirty ass backroom deal. Hey, you want fucking gay marriage? Hey, you want fucking churches to not pay taxes? Let's put them together and we're good. I'll take fucking backroom deals for crying out loud.
Non-tax paying.
I mean, come on now. Do something. It's like that meme of the dead person and the dude's poking him with a stick and it's saying, "Come on. Do something." That's what I just want you to do something. Because legitimately, what have they done since they came back from their recess? We don't have a stimulus. We don't have nothing. What have they done over the last year, honestly?
Got paid.
They've sat in their seat. They went on vacation. They probably farted in that seat a few times.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm sure there's been some, prostitution, some things like that going on.
There probably has, legitimately. I mean, it's depressing.
The old Illuminati.
And like I said, I mean, you probably I could believe the Obama administration, the Republicans were just as bad, where they're literally sticking their heels in the ground. And I guess maybe that may have been where it started, but this like hyper partisan politics is just terrible. Like, legitimately, if 9/11 happened again, we wouldn't see the Republicans and the Democrats standing together on the fucking Capitol steps singing "God Bless America," because they'd fucking want to choke each other. Like, it's gotten that sad. It's literally gotten that sad to me.
I've read from several Republicans over, the past few months talk about the exact thing we're speaking of right now, how, they want things to be pushed through. They want to work with Democrats like they used to back in the day. And, that
it's this new breed.
It's not a new breed. It's what they've bought into. When the Tea Party came along with their extremism, it emboldened certain people like your Tom Cottons and your Ted Cruzes.
To be fair, though, I throw AOC just as much in that unwilling to compromise category as I do the Republicans.
Yes, but she is a very small minority. She's one senator. How many senators are
Right.
like her? None. She's alone. Okay. You have an entire party that is towing the line
Right.
with the extremist right-wing agenda, and that just shouldn't be. I mean, where's moderation? We're all supposed to be in moderation, working together.
Well, and same, on both sides. The left is wanting to tow a, I guess more. I can't say leftist mindset because you said that they're not leftists,
No.
but they, a more left-leaning ideology than.
Joe Biden has no interest at all to move to the left at all. He doesn't care about universal health care.
He just said that today, boss.
What?
He just said something today about expanding healthcare.
He may be wanting to expand Obamacare.
Well, yeah.
He does not stand for universal health care, free education, any of the social programs that the left is actually promoting. He's against all of it. He's for big pharma. He's for big money. He is a neoliberal who embraces capitalism.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that I just, once again, I hope all of the bastards get voted out come November, and we just have a whole fucking new look Congress. But the bad thing about that, though, is the old school people would have been voted out, and those are the same old school people, like you said, Sean, that are like, hey, man, I kind of wish we could go back to agreeing with each other on some shit.
I mean, people like Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham and all of, Nancy Pelosi and the ones that the people hate the most, they're going to die within the next 10 to 15 years.
Well, and that's the thing, though. Like, we're talking about these people, but, at the same time, yeah, vote them out, but at the same time, they're going to be replaced by the newer breed of politician, which is exactly what I'm against. This newer breed that sticks their fucking heels in the ground and doesn't want to negotiate on anything. I think it's the newer breed rather than the older breed that's the problem.
And I would agree with that. Back when we started this Trophies for All, I think we really hurt the psychology of people.
And when did this program start exactly?
So hold on. What's Trophies for All got to do with this, though? I'm kind of confused.
Everybody felt special.
When did they start doing this?
We had to coddle everybody. We had to make sure that
Sean, he doesn't mean
everybody felt
literally.
special. You can't excel because then you're making the other ones feel bad. So now we've got to keep everything straight across the bar.
I mean, I can see your point there. It just and I don't know whether it's these young youthful people coming in and looking to make their mark on DC, and that's why they're digging their heels in, or what it is. But literally, I see less negotiation. Tom Cotton, for example, a first-year senator. He's not willing to negotiate on a fucking thing. He is a first-term senator still, isn't he? He hasn't been reelected since he's been in.
I think this is the second term.
Okay, it may be his second term. He may have been reelected. I'm not sure. But with that being said, in his first term, I know for sure the motherfucker had the balls. And literally, when I read this, I was like, you're a fucking veteran. You should know the chain of command. The balls to write the fucking leader of Iran and tell him that the president's deal was bullshit or whatever the hell he said, or he doesn't agree with the president's deal. And I'm like, bro, you're a fucking vet. You should know the chain of command. You should probably fucking cower down on this one. But I mean, and that's what I mean by this new breed.
But people like Tom Cotton, Ted Cruz, even Rand Paul, okay, they follow ideologies.
Now, see, I like Rand a little bit more than the other two you mentioned.
No. They follow ideologies based off of the writings of Ayn Rand, okay? And it's a philosophy called objectivism. And in that philosophy, it's the wealthy are the best. The wealthy deserve what they have, fuck everyone else. That is the basic principle of objectivism. There is no altruism. Fuck everyone. If they don't earn it themselves, they can fucking die. That is what they believe. And they're all on the same page as far as that is concerned. And as soon as, Trump became the president and they passed those tax cuts for the wealthy, they proved it 100%.
Well, and that's something else that Biden brought up, and we're kind of getting into our 43 days until election 2020, where I was going to talk about their speeches today. But that's something else that he did bring up, was these tax cuts that are not helping. Trump's doing them under the the veil of a stimulus, but really it's going to hurt every single person, because we have to double our withholdings if our company, luckily my company is amazing and they opted out and said fuck you and your withholding bullshit, your payroll tax holiday. We're not going to make our people pay double in the beginning of the year. But some people aren't so lucky, and that's where I think a lot of people aren't understanding that they're going to have to pay this back one way or the other, and Trump has not made that clear enough, I don't think.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
Okay. So, Senate vote. Wow, I got a year right. Senate vote by the end of the year. I don't have any problem with it being after the election. If you tell me by December 31st, between November 4th and December 31st, you're going to hold this vote, I have no problem with it. Sean, what about you? Between November 4th and December 31st. He can name his nominee, but we're not going to hold a vote until after the election.
I'm not one of those people that think it's the end of the world if he nominates somebody. I don't even think it's the end of the world if the Senate votes that person in. What most people don't even stop to think about, when Roe versus Wade was decided in 1973, that 7-2 decision across the board were male Republicans. They all voted for it. Male Republicans. So, no, it's not the end of the world. Just like Trump being the president.
But will a female change that perspective potentially? Because a lot of people are freaking out about Roe versus Wade.
I don't know. It may not. I mean, look at Justice Roberts. He has literally just shocked the Trump administration with his decision.
And that's the thing about the Chief Justice Roberts, is that he has gone against Trump quite a bit.
He is a constitutionalist, and he will not vote to overturn Roe versus Wade. Okay? Now, Kavanaugh will. He's already said so.
Yeah.
Who else is it?
There's a conservative majority with the Chief Justice Roberts on the board, but you never know which way he's going to go, and that's why Trump wants to shore this up, in my opinion.
Right, but the Constitution is clear, and that decision was made very clear that is a basic human right for women, and that should not be taken away. So I that was the precedent that was set. I don't think they can overturn it. Now,
it's one of those things, kind of like a lot of other things, kind of like this stupid ass fucking impeachment bullshit. They just need to stop.
Right.
That's the Republicans' red meat that they need to stop gnawing on and go find some new red meat to gnaw on. Same with the Democrats. If they're still talking about impeachment with the election 43 days away, the fuck is wrong with you? You should be telling people to go out and vote. That's how you impeach the motherfucker at this point. Honestly. Okay.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head before when you were saying it is a give and get. Should be a give and get system.
Right.
Not everybody sticking to their guns 100%, not willing to give, because at the end of the day, it is supposed to be what is best for the American people.
Right, as a whole.
Exactly.
Not
and
one American person, not one individual. It is the country as a whole.
I said this earlier, and I don't want it to be taken wrong. I said, gay marriage and no taxes for the churches, and they can be thrown in a law, and bingo bango, we compromise. But what I don't agree with is sneaking shit into bills, like sneaking certain shit into like stimuluses and stuff. That needs to fucking go away too.
That's been going on since the beginning. I mean,
But that needs to go away.
It does need to go away, but you're not going to stop it. It's just like when the Democrats started the old gerrymandering thing, as far as redrawing map lines and stuff like
Aww. Hey. But I mean, oh Lord Jesus.
Just, what is this?
It's a nerd schoolgirl.
A nerd schoolgirl.
A nerd schoolgirl. Okay.
Yes,
nice.
Michael is a nerd schoolgirl.
But my thing is this, like, what does I think in this case, one of the things the Republicans were complaining about was the stimulus bill, where the Democrats tried to throw in something about funding for abortion. What the fuck does funding for abortion have to do with the stimulus? Like, come on now.
First off, that's not true. That could never happen. It would never, ever happen. It is illegal to use government money to fund abortion. That is against the law.
Sean, it was an example. You're focusing on the wrong part.
Okay, but when you say that, people that hear that are going to think, oh, the Democrats tried to do that. That's how we get fake news and all the other bullshit that happens. Use the fact. Use something real, because I don't want anyone to misconstrue anything that we say.
Well, that's the only thing I know of off the top of my head. But they tried to sneak.
They were trying to get it approved in the insurances.
Yes, there you go. They were trying to get something approved to deal with abortion in the stimulus package. And I'm like, bro, one has nothing to do with the other. Why are you trying to sit this in? And like you said, it's been
trying to fund jet fighters during the stimulus package.
Why?
They go
Why?
back. Yes.
It doesn't need to happen.
No.
If one has nothing to do with the other, then they don't need to be in the same bill.
Here's my bill. People need money. Here it is. Done. Send it.
Oh my God. Castleberry 2020.
I mean, things should be by themselves.
Castleberry 2020. Suck it.
You don't want me to be president.
That's going to be your slogan, Sean. Suck it.
Suck it.
But no, for real, that's just another one of my pet peeves on this shit is why are you trying to sneak shit in? Especially like just the term sneaky, like trying to sneak something in the the small print. Like, come on, bro.
Right,
like you don't need to be doing that shady
like
shit.
that.
Yeah, the filibusters. Like I can go after the Republicans. Why the fuck are you reading Green Eggs and Ham on the God blessed Senate floor? Come on, bro.
It's a stupid rule. I mean, have you ever watched Mr. Smith Goes to Washington?
I haven't watched it yet. You told me to, but I haven't been able to yet.
I told you that 10 years ago.
No, you told me that like 3 months ago. Shut up.
No, I have said that to you way before that, okay? Everyone in this country should watch that film. It's one of the greatest political films ever made, starring Jimmy Stewart. And it shows you a naive man that goes to Washington that believes that the system works. And he finds out very harshly that it doesn't. But it also shows you how the filibuster works and why it can be an important tool to actually fight against something that is immoral and wrong. So, no, I wouldn't want to do away with a filibuster because it is a tool that can actually help in a bad situation.
So there's two movies now, Mike. There's two movies you got to watch now.
Okay.
Smith Goes to Washington and The Distinguished Gentleman.
Okay, I'll try to find them this week. I will try to find them this week. But
then if you have time, go find
Bulworth. Have you watched Lincoln?
Bulworth? Lincoln. No, I have not watched Lincoln. I actually have legitimately sought to watch that, though.
The next time I see you...
I've legitimately sought to watch that, though, because I've heard it's a really fucking amazing movie.
It's a phenomenal movie.
The last political movie I watched, I believe, was Dick. The movie about Dick Cheney. Hey, I had to throw in the explanation. Shut up, Sean. I think that's the name of the movie, though, isn't it?
A political movie or a Clinton show?
Woo! No, but I think that's the name of the movie. But it was a pretty good movie. It just showed how much of a bastard Dick Cheney is, which he is. But
one that starred Christian Bale.
Yes, as Dick Cheney, I believe. Yeah. It was good. It was really good. It showed, just how much of a bastard Dick Cheney is, though, for real.
Well, I haven't watched a Christian Bale movie since he ruined Batman, so.
Like, I'm a Bush guy. Fuck Dick Cheney. Fuck Dick Cheney.
Be careful. You're going to be apologizing one of these days when he shoots you in the face.
Right. I mean, come on now. The man apologized for shooting him in. Oh, good God. Anyway, with that being said, no, I mean, there's just a bunch of shit that I wish they would change about Washington, but they probably never will, or at least not while we're alive. Yeah. They're never going to get rid of the sneaking shit in. They're never going to get rid of we'll probably, honest to God, never see another Congress that can come together and actually agree on shit. Honestly.
I think that will happen the more women that we get in office, and we need to work harder to support women, because I'm sorry, as far as our species go, women are the more rational. They're the least emotional. They do not cause wars like men do, okay? All the hypothetical bullshit that people throw out there against women all the time is, oh, they're over emotional and you can't deal with them and they can't come. No, women need to give women the turn to run the country and see how well things will be.
Now, by the way, don't at Sean Castleberry. He didn't only say Democratic women. He did just say women, period.
Both parties.
Yeah.
Women, both.
Because I feel like there's some hate that may come at you like, oh, you think only Democratic women or something. No, he did not say that. So y'all calm down. But no, I mean, I think women would be able to run a lot better. And would be able to agree. I mean, would there be cattiness? But there's cattiness right now with a bunch of men running the motherfucking country.
Yeah.
So what's the worst that can happen? The same fucking thing?
Will they be shut down for a week?
Oh God. Oh, weird. Let the hate speech come in. let the hate comments.
For what?
When they sync up.
No, they would work through it because most women are very strong, and they do everything while they're on their periods. Yeah.
I was about to say, I can already imagine the hate comments we're going to get on that one, Manic Hispanic. I know that's why you did that. I know you didn't legitimately ask that question for a real reason.
We had an all-female Senate. We'd actually have a child born on the Senate floor while someone was filibustering. I believe that would actually happen.
I actually do believe that would happen, too. Some of these women get in there and they're fucking staunch as hell, like, fuck this shit.
Right? Women are tougher than men. I'll just say it right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I can agree with that. I can absolutely agree with that. But guys, here we go. This one's going to be some fun for me because of what the president said today. COVID deaths are expected to top 200,000 if they haven't already. I haven't had CNN. I haven't had CNN, but last check I had was 19,977, and that was at like 6 o'clock this evening. So we'll check it.
I want to turn now to the latest on the coronavirus emergency. You are looking at the faces of the nearly 200,000 American lives lost to the virus. The Washington National Cathedral marking the solemn occasion by tolling its bell 200 times, once for every 1,000 lives.
This morning, the U.S. nearing that grim milestone, nearly 200,000 deaths from COVID-19, all lost in the last 7 months. The virus targeting victims of all ages, genders, and races. ABC News learning more information about some of those lost lives. More men succumbing than women, the majority of deaths over 65 years old. And roughly 40% of all fatalities linked to long-term care facilities. Some healthcare workers even paying the ultimate price while trying to save others. The Guardian and Kaiser Health reporting that nearly 1,200 frontline workers between the ages of 20 and 80 have lost their lives to the virus or complications from it. Dr. Rebecca Shadowin, an infectious disease specialist in Kentucky, one of them. The 62-year-old just lost her battle with COVID after a 4-month struggle.
Even to the day she died, she championed the message of wearing your mask, in public.
In Houston, Dr. Adeline Fagan started experiencing flu-like symptoms in July.
We thought she'd be coming home to us.
But the OBGYN resident physician who also treated COVID patients in the ER died after a 2-month fight. She was just 28 years old. According to the COVID tracking project, nearly 29,000 people are currently hospitalized, the lowest number since June. But 3 states, Montana, Hawaii, and West Virginia, are setting new records for deaths. Doctors now bracing for a possible surge this winter.
As a physician, I'm still stressed out because a lot of things are unknown about this disease process.
Health professionals urging people to maintain social distancing as schools try to balance learning and student safety. And in Massachusetts, a teen and his parents expected to be charged after the teen hosted a party with more than 45 people.
A couple of my peers made some poor decisions, and we're paying the consequences now.
At high school, now forced to switch all students to remote learning.
And the World Health Organization saying that Gen Z and millennials are driving the spread of this virus, but it's not because of parties and going to bars, but rather their jobs. Those young people in service jobs are at greater risk of being exposed to this virus. George?
Eva Pilgrim, thanks very much.
Well, hey there, GMA fans.
You bastards in your service jobs spreading this disease. No, I'm playing. But no, the big deal I want to ask you guys about, and I don't know if you heard this yet, but the president today had the balls to give himself an A+ on his response to COVID-19. I reiterate, an A+ on his response.
Well, the reason why
He's
said
got
that
an
is
F.
because the reason why he said that is because at the beginning of this pandemic, they said by this point, if in the best case scenario, we'd lose 200,000 people. And he's using that quote to back up his A+ rating.
Well, I don't think it's just that. I mean, the fact that he was so quick to shut down travel between China and the U.S.
I will say he took a lot of flack for that, but I will give him credit.
Did.
That was smart.
Now, what do you guys think of Fox News having the lady from the World Health Organization making the claim that COVID-19 was released by China?
Oh, I saw that. You're talking about the thing that Manic Hispanic sent.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
but
once
he was
again,
trying to do it in a way so that he wasn't pointing fingers. Thanks, Mike.
We've talked about this. We've talked about this before on here, and I'm not sure if you were with us at that point, Manic Hispanic. But do I believe that it was possible that it was in a lab and somehow some shit got on some clothes or something and it got out? Yeah, I can buy that. But to say that they intentionally did it, once again, you're talking about telling me that somebody's the bastard of the bastards and they are fucking pieces of shit human beings. I hesitate to save
and
the...
those kind of people have never existed before.
True, but I hate. That's kind of like when people call President Trump the Antichrist or call President Obama the Antichrist. I'm like, dude, you're talking about calling somebody the worst of the worst. Come on now.
Well, I mean,
to do this, you would have to be the worst of the worst.
Yeah. Well, first you'd have to establish that there was ever a Christ to begin with.
And
anyway, moving on.
That in their life. So, once we get past that point, when you start looking at it, based on the Bible, there has got to be an Antichrist ready to take power at any time. Because
but based on the Bible,
no, we're basing this on the Bible. Okay,
oh, Lord.
We're
I didn't mean to start the religion debate.
We're going to base it all on the Bible, because it was said that no man knows the day nor hour. The devil has to have somebody ready at all time.
Touche.
That's
Touche.
convenient.
That actually makes a good damn point.
That's,
but anyway, we're not getting into religion, Sean. Shame on you. Bad, Sean. Bad. Anyway, with that being said, no, I can buy that it accidentally got released. I don't think that China maliciously released this upon the fucking world.
I'll say the reason why I don't believe that is because China owns America and they own our debt. They own our people. They have all of our jobs.
This is true.
And there is no reason for them to disrupt that system because there are more
It's very beneficial for them.
There are more
Hey,
billionaires.
but even still, you're pointing at America. You're pointing at one thing. You're saying they don't have a reason to attack America. Well, they may not have. But for them to intentionally release a virus, maybe hoping that it would go to Korea.
But they don't have any intention of doing that because
they hit themselves first.
Yeah, they own America.
Well, we didn't say they were smart.
They are brilliant because they have literally monetarily taken over the entire world. And pretty soon, within the next 100, 200 years, we're all going to have to start learning how to speak Chinese.
Sean, no. Shame on you. Shut up.
No, it'll happen.
I know, but shut the fuck up. If somebody in China decided to have the balls to do something, yeah, we'd be fucked.
Bread language that includes a whole bunch of different nations.
If Trump decided to act stupid and tell them make my day, they'll make his day pretty quickly. But no, for real, that's why China's handled with kid gloves, y'all, in case anybody was wondering, because we don't want to fuck with China. I'll be 100% honest. You do not want to fuck with China.
Yeah, I wanted to say that.
If China declared war on any nation, game over. It's done.
Yeah, within 30 days.
I heard that they have a strike within strike distance now. Or they have missiles within strike distance now.
That's a problem.
Of the United States?
Yeah. I wouldn't doubt that they've had them, though. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that they've had them. This isn't North Korea, who's still on dial-up internet. I wouldn't doubt that they've had that, but we probably have missiles capable of striking mainland China, too.
But they also have a 200 million man standing army without reservists. So if they ever just decided one day to say, you know what, we're going to take over the world and just start marching east into Europe,
nothing would happen.
Europe within 4 or 5 years, it'd be over.
I don't even think it would take that long. We're talking 30 days per country. So yeah, maybe at least a year.
I mean, you still got to move everybody. I mean, there's a logistical.
True.
And some people would be dumb enough to fight, like Russia, and of course they'd just be slaughtered.
Yeah, I mean, and I guarantee you, we'd probably put up a fight, but we'd be slaughtered.
I would just hope that we sit there.
What is the religious precedence in China?
What is the what?
Religion precedent.
They practice.
Yeah.
They're atheists. They're a communist government.
Are they?
Okay, so you're.
I thought there was the National Church of China, like Great Britain.
I
mean, a few people might, but they're not going to put up much of a fight. I mean,
let's be honest.
Put up much of a fight. I'm just saying that they wouldn't just roll over.
Let's be honest. How many these Muslim groups have put up much of a fight against us? I mean, and that's not me being shitty. 1-0. I'm just saying. Actually, technically 2-0, but whatever. I'm not scoreboarding here for real. It wouldn't be pretty. If China decided to take over the world,
in the game of risk, China wins. Yeah.
I mean, they got good food, so we're not as fucked as what we would think, but they got amazing food. You don't like Chinese food? Bruh, give me some General Tso's and I'm good for life.
I don't know what kind of homosexual thing that is, so I mean, just keep that to yourself.
You know what? Fuck you. Anyway, with that being said, 43 days until election night 2020, when we will be live right here on Facebook and YouTube Live. I think I've come to the conclusion that you're right, Sean. We won't be able to call a victor that night. I mean, we'll be here until obviously there's no movement. We'll be here and we'll be getting drunk. But no, I'm starting to believe that this is going to be 2000 again. You know what? I can't even say it's going to be 2000. It's going to be worse than 2000. I'm expecting literally every single state to be challenged. I don't know if we'll know who the president is by 2021, honestly.
Nope. I would agree with that.
You're talking about, and like I said, I have a feeling every state, especially every state that Trump loses, will be challenged.
Right. But then again, what if he wins every state?
then we have a fucking problem.
Is Biden going to challenge it? Is Biden going to fight it like that? No.
I agree he would. Oh, come on now.
Oh,
You're telling me if Biden somehow loses California, Biden's not going to be like, hey, motherfucker.
No.
Hillary told him not to
I'm not
concede.
saying they would sweep every single state, but if the majority, wins, like in 2016, Biden's going to concede.
You think Biden will concede? Hillary didn't want to fucking concede.
Biden will concede. He has no backbone.
Be interesting.
Biden's not a
Gore didn't really have a backbone, though.
I said this, a year ago when he first announced Biden is not a leader.
Gore doesn't have a backbone, though, and he fucking fought it all the way to the Supreme Court.
No, he ended up conceding.
He wanted to, well, he did concede, but then he took it back.
Yeah, and then he conceded again.
Well, he conceded again after the Supreme Court decision.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I completely agree that Biden will take this all the way to the Supreme Court, and then he may concede.
I disagree. He won't put up a fight at all.
It would surprise me if he didn't. There's a lot of Democrats that will pressure him into putting up a fight. I'll say that.
A lot of Democrats pressured him to run in 2016, and he didn't do it.
I'm starting to look at Biden a lot like I looked at Kerry in 2004, and that's scary. That's really scary. Because Kerry was one of the most inept candidates that the Democrats put up there. Kerry is like
Bob Dole?
True, like Bob Dole for the Republicans. But who was that guy that ran against Bush one? Rode around in the fucking tank. Dukakis. Kerry was like Dukakis. He was that level bad.
Right.
Like, he was never going to win that motherfucking election, looking back on it. Never. Bush was whooping that ass. With that being said, I feel like the Supreme Court may possibly, we'll start there. 43 days out, has your opinion changed? Do you think this election's any more up for grabs than it was last time we looked at it? Antonio?
No, I don't think it's more up for grabs. If anything, like I said, some of the things that Trump is doing leads me to believe he's not entirely convinced that he can take it.
Okay.
Where before we were all saying that it was Trump.
That it was his to lose, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll agree with that because of the gaffes he made 2 weeks ago. That really hurt him. And it hurt him.
I don't think the Woodward thing hurt him as much as what you think it did, though.
It hurt him a bit, and I think it scared him a bit. And I think that's why he's doing this with this nominee, because he wants to project strength. He wants to say, hey, look what I can do. I can bring everybody together and make a decision. That's why they're trying to push this, to say what he can do. Because, I mean, he hadn't built a wall.
True.
America's not great. America's not great again. It's falling the fuck apart.
It is. COVID has brought us to our knees for damn sure.
Rice.
But with that being said, the way I look at it, it's best case scenario for Biden, it's a toss-up. Worst case scenario, he's going to get trounced like Hillary did. That's where I am. I think that there's enough here that with actually what's going on with the Supreme Court, that he may be able to challenge the race. And like I said, if there is any sort of movement, I honestly believe that if there's movement towards a challenging of the race, it'll come from the Democratic side. I don't think that Trump will. I think Trump would challenge, but I don't think he'll have to. I think Trump has Florida. I think Trump has Ohio. And those are the two big ones that I think he needs. Wisconsin, nah. I think he'll win Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin's more in the bag than Ohio and Florida. North Carolina, I think's done. I think he's got that. Pennsylvania. Anywhere with industry and coal, I think Trump's got it. I think it's shaping up a lot like 2016. I think Trump's the favorite, no matter what the polls say. Heading into election night, I think Trump's the favorite. And I think we're going to call a Trump victory if we call anything that night. Sean, are you leaning more towards the toss-up? Trump? Biden?
We'll know when we know. I mean, we still have 45 days for
43, motherfucker.
Sorry,
43. Read the headline.
We have 43 days for Trump to fuck up again. So,
Very true.
I mean, the fact that people don't care about his relationship with Epstein, or that he's been accused of raping a 13-year-old girl, or, all the slew of horrible things that he's been accused of, people don't care. When he said he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and people would still vote for him, he was fucking right.
It's very true. And I mean, the thing is...
The funny thing is, accusations aren't proof.
Very true. Very true. I mean, there is a story about Al Franken that, he did something and it was never proven to be correct, so...
Al Franken had a photo of his hand on a woman's breast that he did as a joke. He admitted it. He apologized.
Oh, I thought Al Franken had more than just that.
No.
I thought he actually sexually assaulted somebody.
No, he did not.
Or there was an accusation.
He never sexually assaulted anyone. He put his hand on a woman's breast as a joke, and it was a photograph. And the Democrats demonized him and sacrificed him in the name of political correctness and cancel culture, and he left office. And it was one of the biggest mistakes that they ever did.
Gotta love cancel culture.
No,
fucking love it.
Fucking hate it.
I know. I'm being sarcasm, Sean. Sarcasm.
Well, no, I mean, like Joe Rogan was just talking. He's in a lot of trouble right now on Spotify.
This is the second week in a row we've brought up Joe Rogan.
Right? But he's in a lot of trouble right now because the trans activists are really going after him because he had a woman on his show that was talking about women's rights and how women are being attacked by trans activists. So a lot of trans people that work for Spotify are demanding that Joe Rogan be taken off, and he's doubling down.
He just got on fucking Spotify, didn't he?
Yes, he did. And he's doubling down. And he's saying, no, that's censorship, and we need to stop the fucking cancel culture. Same thing's going on with J.K. Rowling, who wrote the Harry Potter books. They're trying to demonize her and make her, just go away.
And she's doubling down, too, writing a fucking book.
She is doubling down.
Let's just raise our hand here. In 1 week after saying that he would allow himself to be censored by Trump's people for a debate, Sean just brought a story about Joe Rogan saying, here's your fucking censorship right here.
Right.
I still don't think they can censor Joe Rogan. Even if it was a debate, I still don't think that they could censor Joe Rogan. But, gentlemen, we've reached the American Idiot of the Week. Manic Hispanic, you want to start us off?
Well, man, I've got a toss-up. I've actually got two of them, if y'all can bear with me.
Okay.
I was real torn between Mr. Biden, who decided to talk about the 200 million that would be dead of COVID by the end of his speech, and just kept right on going, didn't even realize how many more he threw in there.
Sleepy Joe.
The other one would be Todd Starnes. He's got a talk show, and he actually said that if Ruth Ginsburg wanted a more liberal pick, that she would have stepped down when Obama was in office. So he could have picked her.
Oh my God.
But the same thing could be said if she wanted a more conservative pick. She could have stepped down as soon as Trump was elected.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just throwing that kind of stuff out there, in my opinion, is ignorant. Trying to say that, well, if she wanted it this way, she would have done this. Yeah, and if she wanted it the other way, she would have done that. So you really hadn't proven anything.
Good call.
So that's my two toss-ups.
I'm going to echo yours on one of them, Joe Biden. Or actually, Joe Biden's team. His little fucking team that advises him on shit, because somebody needs to be fucking fired. Because whoever told that man to play goddamn Despacito to appeal to Latin voters needs to be fired immediately. Oh my God. Oh my God. And that's all I gotta say about that, Sean.
Whoever made that decision was fucking awesome.
To appeal to Latin voters, Sean.
That made my whole fucking day right there. I love that. I think that is amazing. I fucking love that because they weren't serious. Somebody said that to Joe, and Joe was like, "Dude, let's get that going."
No, what's worse is he played it off of his phone. He didn't even play it off the loudspeaker.
That's why I'm saying he was like, "Let's get this going." How do you spell that?
Oh my god! Oh my god! That makes my day. Sean, I don't think he can top Despacito for appealing to Latin American voters.
Not unless I got Ricky Martin on my side. Come out and start bringing Menudo back together. Let's get Menudo.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's how you would do it. Yeah, I heard Trump's working on that right now.
Ooh. Yeah. Is he gonna bring Selena back too?
No, it was a joke.
Oh, damn!
It was a really bad dad joke, but yeah.
It was a really bad dad joke.
Yeah. Sorry.
God damn it, Sean. Who's your American Idiot of the Week? Fuck.
Man, so many to choose from.
Oh, you ain't lying.
Wow.
The whole fucking Congress.
Yeah, I mean, what can I say? Jesus. Yeah.
How has Trump not been fucking thrown out here yet?
Both sides of the political spectrum right now. I mean, the hypocrisy of both sides, their inability to fucking work together, compromise, and help us through this bullshit right now. How many people don't have jobs? How many people have fucking died? $1,200? That's it? How many people have been evicted from their fucking apartments? Yeah, I mean, if there was a way we could just hit an eject button and just throw them all out, that's what I would fucking do. But yeah, definitely. My idiots of the week are the House of Representatives and Congress together. I just think that they're fucking terrible. All of them. Every single last one of them. Because they can't, there's not a leader in the entire group that can inspire any of them to work together. And that's the saddest part.
And I said this about going back to Obama or going back to Bush and Clinton and Bush 1 and Reagan. All guys who were able to whatever they did, they had people that were willing to work together underneath them. And that's not to bash Trump by any stretch of the imagination, and that's not to bash Obama by any stretch of the imagination or their leadership abilities, because I don't believe it comes down to their leadership abilities. I don't think their leadership abilities has anything to do with the personalities that are currently occupying those seats in Congress.
Right.
I think you could throw the best fucking leader in the country out there right now as president of the United States, and he wouldn't be able to get Congress to do shit.
No,
like,
right.
part of me, when Trump's like, you know what, fuck y'all, bring your asses back here from vacation or whatever, whenever he said that shit, and I'm reading between the lines, obviously, but when he said that shit, I was like, fuck yeah, Trump. Wait, did I just say that? But no, like, part of Trump sometimes in his political incorrectness, this motherfucker's drinking Hawaiian punch right now. No, that shit's good. That shit's good. But no, part of this whole political incorrectness thing, I will say, when he sits there and he bashes the shit out of Congress, I absolutely love it, because I'm like, you're fucking right. They are pieces of shit human beings. I mean, you are too, but, hey, good job.
Yeah.
Okay, gentlemen, any final thoughts before we hop off here? We're going to be off for 2 weeks. I've got to move next week. Any final thoughts as we head in? Next time we'll be, 30 days out. Almost exactly 30 days out. 28, I believe, days out from the election.
Wow, it's coming that close.
20.
I think I will have voted by that point.
I'm wondering if early voting has started yet, because I need to go to the... It starts in October? Okay. Because I know I got to go hit up the library, because I'm sure as fuck not trying to vote on November 3rd.
Right.
I got to be here at 6. What time? We need to talk about what time we're going to start that night, too. Whether it be 6, 7. I think we should just start whenever the results start coming in.
I think a good time to start on that would be like right around 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta be sure I got a few shots down before we actually get started.
Just in case we have to call this Trump victory.
Right.
Oh my God! If Trump wins, I'm calling it right now. If Trump wins, we're playing Menudo.
Menudo.
Sorry, Menudo.
Yeah.
We're playing Menudo. But yeah, when we get back and join you again, we'll have about 30 days left. Any final thoughts? Hopefully, by then, I guess we'll have a nominee too to talk about.
Yeah, I'm expecting it.
He said Friday or Saturday.
The week. Yeah.
Which, of course, he said he's going to wait till after her funeral's over. So let's just fucking wait till the next day and
Well,
fucking.
that's decent. Yeah.
At least he's not going to wait. At least he's waiting until the next day and not the next minute. Like,
Right.
Okay, you know what? Bonus American Idiot of the Week because nobody else fucking took the bait. Fuck you, Donald Trump. You're the American Idiot of the Week as well for fucking doing that shit like 2 hours after she fucking died.
Right.
Like, bro, at least let her get to the fucking funeral home before you're trying to replace her. Let her seat cool off a little bit. But, with all that being said, for the Manic Hispanic and the Pretty Boy, I am Michael Carnahan, and hope you guys